Till now we have been learning together about what it means to be upright. Upright means that the mind has dominion over the heart. Upright means that the head is upright and first. The heart comes second. Your hands and feet come third. Which means you need to begin with the mind, that the mind understands. Mind understands reality. It understands the truth. It understands that God is creator. Understands how God is intimately involved in your life and in all of creation, for that matter. It gets it. The mind gets it. And then it feeds it to the heart. That the heart, whether it's a palpable feeling or not, but at least it's an understanding heart. You get it in your heart. Truth. The truth of who we are. The truth of our purpose. The truth of God. And then that brings to our hands and feet that we act upon it. That's what we've learned, chapters 9 through 17. The love that we produce is a love that brings us to act, to just do the mitzvah. A love that we create, in a sense, because it's about an awareness that we have in our minds. The truth that we possess in our minds that feeds our heart, that brings us to do the mitzvah, as we're doing now, right? As we're doing now. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We embark today on a new path. Chapters 1 through 5, or chapter 1 just set the springboard for everything to talk about. Chapter 2 through 5, we learned about our godly soul. 6 through 8, we learned about our animal soul. Chapter 9, then we understand it's a battle between them. And then we learned that the battle can be won by the Beinoni at all times, in thought, speech, and action, because the mind has dominion over the heart. And you can feed the heart, even though you may not have a palpable, full feeling of love and awe towards God, but you have an understanding heart, minimally, that will bring you to just align yourself and do what God needs from you at all times. So the love that we speak about till now is the love that we produce through our understanding, our awareness. All right, that's the Chassidus that we learn in Tanya, in the mornings, and so on. So it gives us, Now we begin a new path. Chapter 18, in one word, is ma'od. Very. Very. From the phrase that the entire Tanya is based on, the phrase in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, says, Ki karev elecha, for this thing, karev elecha, it's close to you, meaning your relationship with God, Torah, mitzvahs, leading a proper life, it's close. How close? Ma'od, very, very close. How? Bepicha, in your mouth, meaning in your communication, in your speech, bilvavcha, in your heart, which means your thoughts and your feelings, both, because you feel what you think, what you feel. L'aseh to do, bringing you to act, to do. Right? So thought, speech, and action. So now we need to explain more precisely and clearly the word ma'od, very. Because we're saying that this is very near. In other words, the intellectual love, the understanding heart that is produced because of the awareness of the mind. We're saying it's very, very near to us, is it? Are we all capable of understanding so well the ways of God that it should produce a feeling in our heart, or at least an understanding heart? So much so that you will be able then to act in a way that you're always doing right from wrong in your thought, speech, and action. So much so that you will always you won't waste time even based on this kind of divine service. Doesn't sound like it's very near. Not all of us, including me, are capable of understanding God well enough that our minds are filled enough with the awareness of the truth of creation, the awareness of God engaged in our lives, the awareness of how God fills everything and is beyond everything, and nothing is before him but him. That's a tall order that for all of us, now it might be a tall order, and therefore we need to bring this into our lives, and yes we do, because that's what we learned to the end of chapter 17. But how can we say that it's very near, very close and accessible to all of us? Not all of us has the teachings, and not all of us are capable of bringing it into our heart. Right? As we know in our lives, right? We know a lot of things to be the correct way, but not necessarily we live that way, or consistently, constantly, at all times live that way. And yet we're saying it's very near. So the Alter Rebbe will now introduce to us a new path that will make it very near to us. And it'll be very near to us because it's something that we don't have to create, but it's something that we have already. That's where we're going. And we just have to access what we have. We have to just access who we are, what we have. And in that sense, it's very near to us. As opposed to what we've learned till now, you got to learn and study and know a lot. It's a very lengthy path. And it's a lengthy path that once you've learned enough and you're aware enough and your mind is full enough of Torah teachings and the truth of it, the truth of God, the reality of God in the act of creation, the reality of God, how he fills the world, is transcendent of the world, as nothing's before him but him. 3 different dimensions of reality. When you got that, and you know it, and it's a part of you, you own it. You've created it. Here we're going to talk about a different mode. And that will be very near. All right. So this is based on what we call ahava misuteres, a hidden love. A hidden love, which the Alter Rebbe says is an inheritance that the Jewish people get from the patriarchs. It's an inheritance. In other words, we don't create it. The previous love that we spoke about, you create. Because it's through your understanding, your awareness, your meditation, your pondering, that you create that love. But here you're not creating it. It's an inheritance. All you got to do is kind of arouse it. You don't have to create it, right? But we need to first understand, what is the origin of this love? A love that comes from the mind, because you will have an awareness and it feeds the heart. Okay, we understand. Where does that love come from? It came from your awareness of God. Your study about, Torah, Hasidic teachings, and the Tanya, and so on. That awareness, that meditation, created a love. Again, whether it's an intellectual love, understanding heart, or it's a full palpable feeling, but yet the mind created it. But here, what's the origin of this love? Because it's a soulful love, right? It's coming from the soul. It's not coming from you creating it. So, what's its origin? Secondly, what's its character quality? Right? Because a love that comes because of your understanding and it feeds your heart, right? So I understand its character quality is going to be based on what it perceives, what it understands, what it knows, how the goodness of it, and you're aware. The more you're aware, the more your heart will appreciate and feel. So its character quality is pending on the understanding. So that's its character quality, and it's going to be a passionate one. But here, what's its character? What's it striving for? When you develop it through the mind, so it's striving to be attached. It's yearning for something that's beyond it. What's this character quality? Right? And the third question is, what does it mean, an inheritance? What do you mean it's an inheritance, this love? How is love an inheritance? You can inherit, for example, from your parents, a character quality. Color eyes, right? That you can inherit. Can you inherit from your parents love? No. In other words, your parents love philosophy. Both your parents love philosophy. They both love history. Does that mean you're going to love philosophy and history? Not at all. You don't inherit that. Right? So what does this mean, this love that you inherit? How could that be? How do we understand that? We're saying they were getting it from the patriarchs. It's an inheritance from them. How does that make sense? And fourth question, and final question, is we know that every love has the flip side of it is fear / respect / awe. How's that fit in to this? Because we're talking, it's an ava mesuteres, a hidden love that's based in the soul, right? Not a love that we produced, but one of the soul that's inherent to the soul. So the fear / respect / awe, how does that fit in? So we have 4 questions. What's the source root of this love? What its character quality is? What does it mean it's an inheritance, this love? And how does fear / awe fit in with this love? What's this love? Ava mesuteres, a hidden love in the soul that's given to us in patriarchs. So those are the 4 questions we're going to deal with. Today, we only got questions. And if you have questions, I may not answer it because it might be tomorrow's class. But let's see what your questions are. Two question marks before you ask a question, so I know that it's a question. Cherise in Israel asking, why hidden from the patriarchs? And why not also refer to the matriarchs? It's from both. Why specifically the patriarchs? That's a good question. To think about it. I don't think it means anything less than from them too. But yeah. I'll have to think more into that. Good question. Okay. Any other question? I don't see. All right. Brief class today. Tomorrow we will continue the journey. Fascinating journey. Chapters 18 through 25. That will teach us how it's really close. It's not distant. In other words, we have the wherewithal. We just have to look from within. And we're going to find something awesome of who we are. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We're going to actually finish off some Chumash and then Rambam. So please do join us. Vida asks a question. Does the hidden love help us see Hashem in the darkness? And we're talking about Chassidus this morning. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you all for joining. God bless.